Good morning, students. So, this is Teacher Banji again. And for today, what I am going to discuss to you is all about week 5, which is analytical listening in problem solving. For today, our target, number 1, define analytical listening and its sequential process. Number 2, find out problems and state solutions from the text listened to. And number 3, determine the importance of analytical listening in solving problem. Listening is one of the most underrated macro skill. So when we say underrated, underestimated, not given so much attention or importance. Only few activities focusing on listening are given to learners to enhance their auditory skills. This lesson highlights the importance of analytical listening in gathering details and collecting information. Problem solving as a skill is also used in this lesson as a springboard in enhancing learners' listening skills. On the screen is a very familiar face to all of you, or should I say to all of us. Do you know him? Yes, he is none other than President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, the President of the Philippines. So what you will do is to listen very carefully to his SONA or to his State of the Nation address dated July 27, 2020. Okay, for learning task 1, you will be answering these questions using the SONA of President Duterte. So, here are the questions. Number 1, what information are provided by the text or the SONA? Number 2, what is the State of the Nation address or SONA? Number 3, by mandate or command, who is tasked by the Constitution to deliver a SONA? Number 4, when and where a SONA should be delivered? Number 5, what problems were identified by the President in his SONA? And for the last number 6, were the solutions to the identified problems presented? If yes, enumerate them. If not, identify the solutions that you would propose to solve the issues. For the next activity, you will be answering Learning Task 3. Again, for this activity, you will be using the SONA of President Duterte, identify the problems from that SONA, and write your proposed solutions to these problems. Below are 2 columns. So the first column, we have the problems there. Everybody knows what problems are. And for the second column, you will be writing there your proposed solutions. So when we say propose your suggested solutions, when you say suggested, your ideas you can suggest to help you solve these problems. As a continuation of our lesson for today, let us know the meaning of analytical listening. Analytical listening, sometimes called critical or active listening. For this deals with one's ability and capacity to carefully and properly analyze the sounds listened to. This does not only involve comprehension on what has been heard, meaning that you need not only to understand the content of the text, but more importantly, the ability to distinguish and categorize the information listened to. This is also called active listening, as it requires the listener to provide significant and evaluative feedback or response on what he or she has heard from the speaker or the sound platforms. In here, the listener is able to rephrase or restate the information heard to check one's listening understanding to avoid miscommunication, misinterpretation, and misinformation. As such, comprehension and understanding are both ensured. Analytical listening requires sequential process. These stages include the following. The first of these stages is the receiving stage. This refers to the actual hearing process. In here, the listener has to check him or herself if he or she is able to hear clearly the sounds and other sound points. Number two is the understanding stage. Understanding stage focuses on generating meaning on what has been heard. In here, the connection or communication between the listener and the speaker must be clearly established. This constitutes the idea that the understanding of the speaker must be the same with the listener. The third one is the evaluating stage. This requires both the listener and the speaker to meet in between regarding the points portrayed in the listening process. This allows the listener to critically examine the details of the information heard. This provides a time for information segregation. Number four, responding stage. This allows the listener to provide verbal and or nonverbal feedback and responses based on the listening context. And the last one is the remembering stage. This stage is a personal stage for the listener, allowing his or her to integrate in him or herself the information heard. This also allows him or her to record in his or her system the information listened to for future access and use. Analytical listening is a very helpful strategy in problem-solving activities. In solving a particular issue or concern, it is important to identify first the significant required information. In solving a problem in a listening text, the first task is to identify the problem. So as what you can see on the screen, I have there an illustration. On top of it, you have there the word problem. Below, at the middle of these questions, there are questions. Okay, at the middle of these questions, you have there the word solution. You have to answer first the following questions. The first question is what? What is really the problem? Who? Who made this problem? Why? Why did this problem begin? How? How did he or she arrive at this problem? When? When and where this problem began? Okay, these questions are questions that you have to answer first before arriving at the best solution. So according to American Society for Quality 2020, there are 4 steps in solving a problem which include the following. Number 1, to define the problem. What was really the problem? What is it about? Number 2, generate alternative solutions. Meaning to say, you have to think of the possible solutions that you can make use for you to solve this problem. Number 3, evaluate and select an alternative solution. So you have to think for so many times what uh, is the best solution that you can make use to solve this problem. And number 4, implement and follow up on the solution. So now that you have selected the best of these solutions, so you are going to implement or to try if this solution is really effective and if the problem um, really was solved using this solution. For the next activity, let us answer learning task 2. For learning task 2, read the items below. Match the listening stage in column B with their appropriate descriptions in column A. Write the letters of your answers in your paper. For column A, number 1 allows the listeners to provide verbal and or non-verbal feedback and responses based on the listening context. Number 2 has to check him or herself if he or she is able to hear clearly the sounds and other sound points. Number 3 requires both the listener and the speaker to meet in between regarding the points portrayed in the listening process. Number 4 is a personal stage for the listener, allowing his or her to integrate in him herself the information heard. And for number 5, focuses on generating meaning on what has been heard. For column B, the choices are A. Receiving stage, B. Understanding stage, C. Evaluating stage. Letter D. Responding stage. And letter E. Remembering stage. Let us move to learning task 5. For learning task 5, identify what is asked in each statement and write your answers in your paper. For number 1, it deals with one's ability to carefully listen, examine messages, and provide significant feedback or response. Number 2, it deals with the main issue or concern that must be addressed in a particular text. Number 3, it serves as one's response to the identified problem, which can be identified by asking the questions who, what, how, when, where, and why. Number 4, this also allows him or her to record in his or her system the information listened to for future access and use. Number 5, this allows the listeners to provide verbal and or non-verbal feedback and responses based on the listening context. Number 6, this allows the listener to critically examine the details of the information heard. This provides the time for information segregation. Number 7, this constitutes the idea that the understanding of the speaker must be the same with the listener. And number 8, this allows the listener to check him or herself if he or she is able to hear clearly the sounds and the other sound points. And for your assignment, you may answer Learning Task 6 using President Duterte's SONA. Identify one problem that he mentioned in his speech, and in a sheet of paper, you may write an essay about your identified problem or issue and your proposed solution. So, this is Ma'am Handok or Teacher Banji saying good day, keep safe, and God bless!